Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a reading for the collective. Welcome, collective. So since this is a reading where I'm tuning into general energies, I'm not tuning into one specific person's energies. So take what resonates and leave the rest. Not every message is for you. Maybe the message is for someone else. Oh my gosh. If you would like a reading where I tune into your specific energies, then you are welcome to schedule a reading with me. I've really enjoyed meeting a lot of you in that space. The link to schedule an appointment with me is in the description box below. So, collective, just taking a look at your reading, there are a lot of major arcana cards showing up, and so you're dealing with some core issues right now. And so if things are feeling difficult, it's because they are core issues that you wanted to look at, lessons you wanted to learn for in this lifetime. So it's not just an issue that's coming up this week or something that's temporary. So let's go ahead and look at your past, collective. In the past, you're in the energy of teach. I get the feeling that some of you have some type of skill that you are passing on to others, some type of higher knowledge. For a lot of you, I'm getting that this is spiritual, a perspective, a way of seeing things. Even if you don't have this official role, I feel that a lot of people come to you for guidance. A lot of people, you're an amazing friend, whether you are open to that or not. Not just for friends, but for family members, for people you work with. You hold a wisdom within you that a different perspective, maybe a broader perspective that is really helpful for others. And it feels like you have, in the past, you left something behind that caused a lot of pain. More pain than you thought you had the capability of working through. But by leaving it behind, by moving past this, you've got this wisdom to share with others, a roadmap of yes, this was a very, very painful experience, and yet within you've got a roadmap of how to overcome those obstacles. It's a very personal and private one, and it feels like it brings a lot of hope to those who might be on a timeline behind you. There's no race. We're just all on different timelines. And it looks like you're going into unknown territories. In the past, this upheaval, this difficult time, this painful scenario helped you level up and take you in a new direction. I feel like you're surprising yourself, and others are definitely surprised with how much strength and wisdom you have, how much grace that you have handled yourself during this. So in the present time, you are in the energy of shine. do feel, even though this is, major arcana, you're dealing with um, core issues, I feel like this joyful energy that's coming through, this real desire to be yourself, to shine that light of who you are, that even though in the 3D right now, it might seem like there are things that have happened and are happening that are unfair. It's so interesting. Like the 3D might be telling one story, but on an energetic level, I feel like you can feel this a new energy coming in despite whatever the appearance is on in the 3D. It feels like you're leveling up. It feels like you're taking this wisdom from the past and you are ready to really show yourself. I mean, yes, you'll definitely show others, but it feels like you're going to really show yourself what you have been holding back from, maybe sabotaging yourself, maybe giving to a connection, giving to others before you give to yourself. And there's something about how you are now giving to yourself. You are now putting all that energy or a lot of it into taking care of yourself. And it feels like it's creating such a momentum in your space. I'm getting that you have been recovering from a really strong, I mean, again, this loss, heartbreak, suffering, but there's something about your energy. It feels like your heart space is really healing in a profound way, that you are acknowledging that hurt. You haven't bypassed, you haven't spiritually bypassed the hurt. You have acknowledged the hurt. You've accepted, you've seen things from a very clear point of view. Maybe for a long time, you didn't see things clearly. And there's something wonderful about seeing yourself and seeing a situation and seeing a person clearly. Maybe for the longest time, you've been very miserable spiritually, emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically because of lying to yourself, of not seeing what's really going on. And your ability to let go of your ego and see the reality of what's going on has made you more resilient, more wise, more capable, more compassionate, more caring. It's taught you so many things about creating boundaries and um, how to take care of yourself in a very exciting and profound way. So a family pattern that you're working on right now is crown chakra. So crown chakra is right here. It's has to do with I see it like a tuner, what you're tuning into. So if you're tuning into uncertainty, then your whole chakra system tunes into the energy of uncertainty. If you're feeling certain, then it informs your chakra column. So what is it about a family pattern, how people ran their crown chakras? Ooh, okay, this is interesting. I'm getting that even though, it feels like in at least some, I'm not sure if it's both sides, like both grandparents in your family, it feels like it's been you came from a matriarchal family. Might have been low key, but it feels like the women in your family are really the ones that had power. I'm especially tuning into grandmothers. They really, even though it feels like they had a way of, they were the ones with the abundant nature. They were, there's something about the matriarchal, the woman in the family was really the one calling the shots. And the men tended to be more of knights in shining armor. Maybe not skilled for sure, but there's something about the women in your family being very strong and powerful women, and they choose men who might not be their equal. Maybe this was the only way for many, many years, decades, centuries, millennia, that women could be in a seat of power. Marrying a very talented man or someone with some talents, but who they could manipulate. I'm also getting that if this is resonating, that it created a lot of disharmony and distrust and a lot of imbalances, because I'm getting that this feminine energy tended to not be very nurturing. It tended to be someone who, the matriarchal energy that I'm tuning into, it was feminine energy that ran a lot of feminine people who, like females, who embodied masculine energy. So it feels very controlling, and it creates a lot of tension and a breakdown of communication. It doesn't feel like the communication is very honest. Well, let's continue and see why this is coming up now as a family pattern. A personal issue you might be working through is throat chakra. So throat chakra is right here. It's the energetic center of communication. So communication being listening and speaking. Oh, okay. A personal issue that's coming up right now to be looked at is how you communicate with yourself and with others about your life. It feels like there's a tendency to be stuck in kind of a victim mentality, to share what's not going well, that's not going right, how someone wronged you. It feels like there's, if you're an adult and you had a really difficult childhood where you did not feel loved and cared for, then even 20, 30 years later, you're still stuck and kind of bringing that story forward into the present time. There's never a real way of healing that. It feels like you're bringing the pain, the unhealed aspects of childhood and of any situations going on now into the present time. By saying victimhood, I'm not suggesting that you didn't go through incredibly painful and unfair experiences. I'm not invalidating that at all. It's when we get stuck in that mentality that nothing works for me, everybody's working against me, nobody cares for me, whatever those basic beliefs are that create a perpetual learned helplessness. So the suggestion I'm getting is to pay attention to what you're sharing with others. Sometimes I think I'm feeling fine, and then I'll talk with a close friend, and it is just complain, and woe is me, and this person did this to me, and this person disappointed me with that, and I feel, and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize how wounded I still am, and I'm talking about something that happened last year, decades ago, and so not just communicating unconsciously, but being very aware of how you speak about your life. Every time you say they did this to me, which might be the truth, but by staying in that energy, you give your power away. And it feels like in the collective right now, everybody is, or most of the collective is, how to get my power back? How to stop giving my power away? How to be empowered? So it might behoove you to notice what your thoughts are. Meditation's great for noticing, getting really clear about what you're thinking, and paying attention to what you're talking about. Why are you, I've found that sometimes I get addicted to painting myself in that light. And realizing that it kind of keeps me in that energy. So your conscience is in Ace of Pentacles, strengthening bonds. Your conscience is what you would do if nobody else was judging you, what you'd want to do. What you'd want to do is receive a blessing, receive a physical blessing. I like that. Receiving something tangible, receiving something I'm getting that what you want to do is take care of yourself, recuperate, retreat. I feel like you have cleared a lot of structures. Either you are becoming very clear about family structures, maybe the family of origin as well as the family you've created. Maybe you're becoming very clear about the government structures, about work structures that don't work for you. Maybe societal structures. It feels like you are realizing what's not working and clearing those beliefs, and you're wanting to create your own beliefs, creating your own personal structures of beliefs, of realizing that you don't have to believe in what everybody else does. Maybe there's also religious structures that you're letting go of, that you can be unconventional, that I get this feeling that the more you find what works for you, so you can be you, the most you possible, then, and trust in that, and allow yourself to match that energy, then the universe will give you more and more. The more you change your core energy, your core frequency to your own specific energy. You're not trying to fit into a religious structure. You're not trying to fit into society's structure of who you should be. You're figuring out who you are, who you want to be, how you want to show up, and how to be friendly with yourself and be more and more yourself. It feels like the more that you do that, the more the universe and the things in the 3D can find you, because you are resonating more and more at your core frequency. Wow. This is a lot of times, these readings with a lot of major arcana cards feel really hard, difficult, like challenging. And even though I'm seeing challenges here, it feels like you are really finding that resonant frequency of you, of who you are as an individual. Very empowering reading. All right, your higher self is in the energy of confront. Confronting your shadow, confronting your childhood trauma, confronting aspects of yourself that you, oh yeah, okay, so it's your higher self is saying, let's stay mentally clear, let's stay in the truth, let's be disciplined and honest with yourself and with everyone else. It feels like this honesty, this truthfulness, it's at the center of your reading. I think it's mostly around being honest with yourself and with everyone else about who you are, not who you think you should be, who you need to show up as to please others, but who you are, the totality of that. Being honest about your the things that make you amazing and special, and the skills and talents that you have, as well as saying, sometimes I can be really petty, especially when I feel like I've been hurt. That's something I'm working on. But yeah, I've got some pettiness. I can also be really judgmental. And a lot of times, if I'm feeling not so comfortable with myself, I'll project my stuff onto others, because it feels too uncomfortable to acknowledge that and own that I'm exhibiting that behavior. Like, and not like, oh, well, that's me. But yeah, I see these aspects in myself. I'm working on them, but I also acknowledge, I want to create some space because I'm not perfect. I have plenty of things that I'm working on. So it feels like a friendliness to all of who you are, not just the parts that you like or that others like, but a friendliness to every aspect. All right. The Hermit in reverse popped out. Right now, it feels like there's you might be feeling more isolated. I get this feeling that this isn't about, it seems like a lot of people feel that you have lost your way, and they are projecting their storylines onto you And right now, it's important for you to realize that I haven't lost my way. I'm finding myself in a very profound way. Your challenge right now, collective, is Two of Cups coming together. Your challenge is finding, I don't know if that's the right term, allowing. It feels that in this reading that depending on someone else, needing someone else has been something that you're working on. There's one thing to want to work with others, being open to allowing others who are in the same vibration, who want the same goals to come into your life and enjoy that. But there's a needy quality. And it feels like a lot of you are recovering from some partnership, whether that's within a family, within a relationship, within a work dynamic, some type of partnership that did not go the way you thought it was going to. A partnership that left you out in the cold, isolated, financially unstable, and feeling very insecure. Your challenge is to realize that I'm getting that this was a karmic situation. This was meant to teach you a lesson about how to handle this type of situation, it feels like a cyclic pattern that's been happening in your life, whatever this is. And that now you have an opportunity to do things different, to react differently, to respond differently. How I normally handle this when I feel betrayed and left out in the cold is I get really butthurt. I talk about it and malign them and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it for years, maybe decades, because I feel like I'm a victim to this person. Maybe it's time to do something different. How can I create something different? How can I break this cycle? Your desire right now is the Tower. Rebuild. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling like your desire is to, it feels very scorched earth. Scorched earth is a tower came, you see clarity. Sure, the tower creates a lot of chaos and upheaval, but the tower is receiving so much clarity of seeing something that you were unwilling to see. So unwilling to see for such a long time that finally you have intervention from source, from the divine. Your desire is to rebuild, to focus on yourself, to feel those repressed emotions. I get the feeling a lot of you are very intuitive, and within this connection and these connections that I've been talking about in this reading, I get the feeling that you had very strong feelings that were telling you that this situation is not right. It's not kosher. It is not for you. But because of gaslighting, because of structures of how you felt like you should show up, that you didn't listen to your emotions. And so now you are taking your power back, learning how to love yourself, and feeling those repressed emotions, feeling all that disappointment, feeling that rage, feeling that anger and disappointment, and not needing it all to be directed at this person, but and not yourself, not guilting and shaming yourself, but it is, it takes two. It takes two to create a relationship. And so just acknowledging your part in co-creating this, not as a way to shame and guilt yourself again, but as a way to find empowerment that I can't change people, I can't change situations. I don't have control. I don't have control out there. I do have control over how I want to show up. And to know how I want to show up, I need to be honest about what in me, what beliefs I had that allowed me to not listen to my intuition for so long. Maybe putting trust outside myself, putting control, giving my control over to someone else. By giving them control over decisions, then I don't have to be responsible. Maybe I'm ready to be responsible for my life, my decisions, who I show up as. Your lesson right now is Three of Swords. So Three of Swords has shown up twice now in your reading. Solitude, sadness, and isolation. So Three of Swords, it feels like could be a third-party situation for those of you who've had romantic, this is about a romantic partnership. Feels like getting over, it feels like feeling very hurt that someone rejected you, very hurt that someone chose someone else over you. And so it feels like painful, but there's an ego aspect. Maybe you stayed in a connection. Maybe you stay in connections, even with family connections and work connections, much longer than anyone else would. Like, it feels like you need to be loyal. You have to stay with it. If there's a medal for someone staying in situations way beyond where it's healthy, I feel like that might be you if you're tuning in. And so maybe you even had signs or an inkling that someone was going into a third-party situation, and still you stayed, and still you were afraid to change. So it feels like it takes a lot of pain, a lot of betrayal for you to leave. Maybe that's something that a lesson that you're ready to let go of, that I don't need to wait until I've had so many painful experiences. This is what I'm reading from you, collective, that you've had so many painful, very painful experiences in your life that have made you be very tolerant of abuse. So maybe you stayed in a situation, you're like, yeah, but there's no physical abuse. Yeah, it's just emotional and mental abuse, but there's no physical abuse, so it's winning. Maybe you did have an experience early on with physical abuse. And so it feels like the lesson that's coming up is not waiting until the ship is on fire and going under for you to leave a situation. Maybe you're ready to, be, as an act of self-love, of empowerment, of taking care of yourself. And if something isn't fishy and you're not quite sure what it is, being like, I don't know what this is. But I know that I'm not comfortable in this situation. And the more I stay in it, the more uncomfortable I am. And so I'm just going to leave. I'm going to trust my intuition and I'm going to find something else. All right. The advice right now is 4 of Cups. Opportunity beckons. The advice. Okay. The advice I'm getting here is to, okay, not every offer is for you. It might feel good in the moment, but give it time. Use your discernment. Use time and space to figure out if someone or something is correct for you. It's okay to say no to something, especially if it's coming from, if it's an offer that has strings attached, if it's an offer that comes with control, where you lose your control. If it's an offer that pulls you away from taking care of yourself and putting energy into something outside of yourself first, someone, something, there's something up here about the advice being, you've come so far, you've learned so many lessons, you've gleaned a lot of wisdom, there's just this joy and moving on type of energy in this reading. And if someone comes from your past, or if someone new comes in but a similar energy and it just annoys you and you're not sure, gosh, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. That's your intuition working. The situation or the person might seem good on paper. Trust your emotions, trust your intuition. If something about them annoys you, or you feel very differently in front of them versus after they leave, there's a shift in how you feel. These are all things to look at. Your advice is to stay on your path. This reading, where it feels like you are leading, is 4 of Wands. You are leading to celebration. You're leading on your path takes you to celebration and joy and harmony. And it feels like a community. And yeah, it feels really wonderful because you've been doing the work here first. You're taking care of you, your heart, taking your power back, learning some amazing lessons along the way. And yeah, it feels like you're, if this has been resonating with you, it feels like you're on a very high vibration timeline. And yeah, I just feel so much joy, especially after the past energy and feeling, what it's taken for you to get to this point. So bravo. So, all right, collective, thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. Take care. Bye.